The media celebrates those who choose to be different.
And we are calling it iPhone.
Bryant for the win! Bang!
Now is the time to take risks.
Yet in the real world, pressure to conform is at its highest.
ことが日本では難しいと感じてしまうから。
Have like that saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered.
I got a little bullied when I was in high school because I was so straightforward.
Societies are wiring us all to be the same, from our looks to our careers, even to our attitudes on life. But how much of it should be followed? In this video, I'll be in Japan, one of the world's most distinctly homogenous societies, to explore these concepts and to find out what it takes to stand out, or if it is even worth it to be different.
If you had to say about Japan and Japanese culture, is it more likely that the majority of people here are the same or different?
The same. Japan is not a diverse country because of the education. I feel like the education tried to put them in the box, make them think the same way. They love following the rules.
They have like that saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered.
In America, I think there's a saying, the wheel that's being noisy gets oiled. In Japan, if you stand out, people are gonna judge you, right? But in America, if you stand out, people are gonna help you.
日本人はやっぱり周りに合わせがちな人が多いと思うけど。
What is it like to live in a homogenous culture?
そうですね。やっぱ他の国に住んでないんでわからない。
So on April 1st, that's kind of where everybody dressed the same suits. Newly hired employee, they are getting trained how to write emails, how to say hello to customers. In a way, kind of robotic, you know? It's like you smile like this, you don't show your teeth, how to do the omotenashi, how to do like the welcoming the guests. Wherever you go in Japan, you have that same type of experience.
Most of the Japanese are really nice when you talk to them. But getting a conversation is really hard.
It makes me more aware of how maybe it is to be a person from a different ethnicity and not everyone is the same as me here and I'm the one standing out.
Don't get me wrong, like I love Japan. I'm proud of, being Japanese, but sometimes I miss the feelings of, being free and, people understand me, what I'm saying.
What do you think the typical Japanese person is thinking or when they see someone like me?
They'll be like, alien.
I'm from Canada, and if you know anything about Canada, one thing that we really pride ourselves on is our diversity. Physically, everyone looks very different from one another, and so it's never come across my mind that I look different or I could look different. In Japan, that's not the case. For the first time, I understand that I look different. I don't look like Japanese people, I don't think like Japanese people, I don't talk like Japanese people. And that's why the more time I spend in Japan, I realize that your culture and your environment plays a huge, huge role in how you think and how you feel and how you think of yourself. I've always felt that I stood out. I decided to not do the corporate 9-to-5 job, and I decided to be an entrepreneur. In that regard, I stood out, and that's how I felt that I was different. Now that I come here, it's actually the way I look that proves that I am different. It's clear that this society, Japanese society, is very inclined to fit in all regards. But is that the case everywhere? Are people's opinions and thoughts shaped by where they're from?
What is your current life situation right now?
So I am a single woman who's 25 years old in the Philippines. I'm currently working for a marketing agency. I have an apartment back in Montreal.
I moved to Sydney and I moved from Montreal there on my own, so it's pretty interesting.
I just graduated university. I'm on a 3-month trip throughout Asia. Currently have no responsibilities, and I feel like that's allowing me to discover more things about myself.
I'm a digital nomad. For the last 4 months, I've been traveling through Asia with you. I've been managing to work from anywhere. I don't have anywhere I currently live. My plan is to keep things moving, keep things rolling, and explore more of the world.
What is the typical path that someone from back home would take in their life?
Typical path is, A leads to B leads to C. It's very cut out for you.
Study for 15 years of your life, get a job, find a wife, get fat and die.
The conventional path that I see it as is one that chases security.
Would you say that you stand out in general?
I think I stand out in my own ways. I don't think I necessarily stand out with my friends because my goal is never to stand out from my friends. I am my friends.
Why do you think so many people want to stand out but can't?
I feel like a lot of it is like risk of failure or risk of judgment.
Parents sort of put pressure on their kids to make money, right? To provide for your family. And I don't think I'll have the same life as my parents. And that's why I've chosen to probably be a little bit more adventurous. They don't see those alternatives and they think that if they just work hard, if they just do this, then they'll get the same life as their parents and they'll be happy.
It's clear that where I come from, my part of the world, really encourages standing out. You could see that not just in how we talk and how we act, but how we think as well. But for a country like Japan and for cultures who are similar to it, they don't celebrate standing out. So in order to actually do that and be yourself and live on your own terms, you need to do a whole lot more than just deciding that you want to be different.
Is it hard to stand out in Japan?
個性を出そうとする人が少ないから、こういい意味でも悪い意味でも目立っちゃう人は多いかもしれないです。
僕も同じで、やっぱり周りに合わせようとする人が多いから、個性をやっぱ出していくと目立つことは簡単ではないですけど。あります。
多分なんて言うんだろう、出る釘打たれるみたいな、出る杭下手なことはしないみたいな感じかな。
Were you always different, or did you become like that at a certain point?
I realized that when I was in high school, I realized that I don't fit in. I got a little bullied when I was in high school because I was so straightforward and I have different, ideas and thinking. Around 20 or 21, I went backpacking around the world, and that made me realize that who I am is actually okay. It's actually a great thing.
I'm Japanese. I'm born and raised in Japan. I went to public school, never lived abroad, but still I feel something different from Japanese people. I don't know if it's good or bad. Much more influenced by Western people, Western media, Western TV show, Western movie, Western music, everything. So
自分らしさを出すことが日本では難しいと感じてしまうから、自分らしさを出したいと思う自分にとっては個性をやっぱ僕は出したいから、アメリカの方がもっと自由に振る舞えて僕はいいと思いました。
I think everyone in the world, everyone has this one problem. It's a unique problem about the world that really pisses you off. In my case, what really pisses me off is seeing and talking to people who I think have so much potential in life and have such big dreams to do some great things, but will not do them, will not act on them because they don't have the confidence or the environment to support it.
What makes it easier for people where you're from to stand out versus people in Japan?
Japan is a very homogeneous culture. 99% of people in Japan are Japanese. Where I'm from, it's a blend of people, You have Middle Eastern people, you have people from all over Europe, you have people from all over Asia, you have people from South America, Africa, which leads to this whole new slew of ideas. And I think ultimately what it leads to is a lot more support.
My friends have introduced things to me when it comes to, music tastes, fashion, and really just developing different aspects of your personality. And my friends have helped me do that, which has just helped me become better friends with the friends that I have.
Truthfully, the more I travel, the more I realize how lucky I am and that my friends are to have grown up in a country like Canada that supports this ability to think for yourself and to follow your dreams. There are countries and people in the world who have dreams and goals that are as ambitious as anyone's. Yet there are obstacles that stand in their way that break them down mentally. And every dream and every big goal starts with the foundation of you believing that you could do it.
So this is Will and I's last few days in Japan. And even though our flight is flying out of Tokyo, we've actually decided to spend the majority of our time in Osaka, which is 3 hours away from Tokyo. Now, the reason why we're in Osaka is because throughout this trip, one thing that I've realized is that when you choose to stand out, you end up surrounding yourself with people who also stand out as well. And the same if you decide to fit in. Now, the people that Will and I have become the closest with throughout our time here are some of the people that stand out the most in Japan. So let's meet them.
The lifestyle you've lived is very different than most Japanese people.
I'd say so, yeah.
Do you have an example in terms of maybe culturally, socially, mentally, emotionally, any of those where you feel that you stand out?
When I think something's wrong, I really put it out there, which the Japanese culture is kind of frowned upon. If you're told something, you just have to, hai means yes. Well, it means everything in Japan, hai.
I always look at, each day as being a blessing for me to be in Japan or me to be out of my country where I was born in America. I'm not saying I don't like America, but I'm just saying I always feel like I'm on a continuous vacation.
It seems like standing out is a product of being comfortable in your own skin. If you were gonna potentially get hammered down,
多分なんて言うんだろう、出る釘打たれるみたいな。
you would be okay with that and you would be able to figure your way out. You are incredibly comfortable in your own skin from what I've seen. How can one be more comfortable with themselves, who they are?
Well, for me, I found that spending more time with myself and getting to know myself, even talking to myself. I think it's important to actually speak good about ourselves.
I read a lot of books, like whenever I didn't understand something, but at the same time, like ambitiously, you have to always have that mentality of trying to learn something new.
Who do you really want to be? How do you really want to be? How do you want to transform yourself into that person that you want to be? The only person who's going to be able to live my life is me. The people, they will accept what you throw at them, whether it's positive or it's negative. For me, I have to be comfortable in the person I'm trying to project. Right. As long as I can actually find that in myself, I can operate in any environment.
If someone wanted to stand out more, like take for example someone in a Japanese culture, how can someone do that?
I think the first thing is to not be ashamed of whatever it is you're interested in, and don't try to find interest just for the sake of fitting into other groups. Enjoy it. If that like truly sustains you and keeps you sane, just keep pushing.
My opinion, as long as you cannot enjoy your job, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, no, I just don't want to live like waiting Friday night. That's what my friends do, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait Friday, and I don't want to schedule Monday.
Do what makes you happy, and you know, if you are doing stuff that doesn't make you happy, you're surrounded by people that are not making you happy, and I think you will find your own community once you start being yourself too and find the right people.
So I think it's always really good to find a community that will be accepting of you. Take your time and kind of really get to know yourself and find a community that will really accept you and encourages you to go to that next step.
Different people spark different conversations, make you think differently, make you try different things, and they make the world more interesting. But at the same time, this is not a video that is incentivizing you to stand out. There is a lot of value in fitting in as well. And so now the only thing to consider is which one you want to be.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then you're definitely gonna like this video right here. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure to do that now. I'm Will, and as always, it's a mindset.